Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of What I Watched. This time it's January 2023. I totally forgot to release this episode, so I'm re-recording it, releasing it here in March. So sorry for the late delay, but yes, we're going to be covering everything that I watched in January 2023. Let's get right into it. To start off the year, I watched Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery. I just was trying to catch up on some of the films in 2022 that I ended up missing out on. Honestly, Glass Onion was really forgettable in the long run. I really did enjoy that first Glass Onion film, or that first Knives Out film, but they're not really films that I find myself wanting to rewatch. I did rewatch Knives Out 2 or 3 times since its release, but as for Glass Onion, it was fun, it was fine, but I don't think it deserved any of the nominations that it got, so those are my thoughts for Glass Onion. Next up, I watched Wrath of Man, a Guy Ritchie film starring Jason Statham, and I gotta say, this is just a fun blast. It's fairly predictable. You know exactly who the villain is going to end up being, but that doesn't take away from the fun of this film. It really is just a action-packed thrill ride, and honestly, Jason Statham's just good at doing that. So if you're just looking for a fun, easy watch, action-packed, go check out Wrath of Man. Now, this is a film I totally forgot that I watched. That's Let's Be Cops from 2014. Honestly, this film really isn't good. I remember not even caring for it when it released, when I saw it in theaters, but it's a film that I can have some enjoyment because of the cast members involved. I really do like, I can't remember his name, it's Nick from New Girl. I can't remember the actor's name, but I'm a real fan of his, and there are some funny parts throughout this film. It's not a film I would recommend. I don't think I'll ever watch it again, but you know what? It was an easy watch for the night. After that, I went and saw Megan, which as of right now, there is a new unrated cut released on Peacock, which I have just done my review for. That will be out very shortly, so please be sure to go check out my full review of Megan, the unrated cut. And next up, in preparation for Scream 6, I am starting the Scream franchise over again with, of course, the original Scream, 1996. This is, without a doubt, my favorite slasher of all time. I don't really have much more to say about this that I haven't said in my review, so if you want to go check out my review for Scream 1996, please go do that. I have reviews for the entire Scream franchise leading up to Scream 6 coming out, so please be sure to go check that out. It really is. It's my favorite franchise, so it means a lot to everybody that goes and checks out those videos. I really cannot wait for Scream 6, and I'm going to the Scream 6 early fan screening event, so I'm very excited for that, and I just can't wait to see Ghostface on the big screen again. Next up, I watched Gladiator for the very first time, and this film is really, really good. Obviously, if you've seen the film, most likely you enjoyed it or thought at least it was a masterpiece on a technical level, and that is very, very true. It looks gorgeous. There's some amazing costume design. Again, it's not a film that I will find myself going to rewatch all that often, maybe when it comes time to showing my kids Alien and all of the other Ridley Scott works, yeah, I'll end up showing them this, but it's not a film that I will rewatch anytime soon just because of how long it is. And next up, we have my favorite horror film of 2023 so far with Sick. Yes, this is written by Kevin Williamson, who is the writer / creator of Scream. Obviously, Wes Craven directed Scream, but Kevin Williamson essentially came up with the idea when he was home alone, and he's at it again with Sick, a COVID slasher that is absolutely bonkers. I don't think it has quite enough kills as I was expecting or as I was hoping, but honestly, I don't think that really takes away from it because it makes the suspense a little bit more amped up because you have such a small cast. You don't know who the killer is or isn't going to be, and I really thought it was well done. It's a film that I will absolutely pick up on Blu-ray if and when they release it on Blu-ray. Okay, next up, we're going to go through these two fairly quickly because I was rewatching Ant-Man and Ant-Man and the Wasp before seeing Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Wow, I really, really do have some fun with Ant-Man 1. Ant-Man and the Wasp, it's pretty rough. It's pretty rocky. It's not a film that I think I will ever rewatch. That's kind of rough to say because I really do like Paul Rudd. There's some fun sequences within the film, but again, it's not a film that I feel is worth sitting down and spending my 2 hours watching something that, one, I've already seen it twice at this point, and I just don't feel like I'm getting anything new out of it, and I felt like I got everything that I wanted out of Ant-Man and the Wasp on that very first viewing back in like 2017 or whenever the film came out. Next up, I watched Scream 2, which, yes, it's another Scream film, and I have a review for that out right now, so go check that out if you want to know my thoughts on anything of the Scream franchise. I'm not going to reveal everything here. Why would I do that? That's not fun. So go check out my review for Scream 2. And then leading up to the release of Knock at the Cabin on February 3rd, I was checking out some of the M. Night Shyamalan films that I hadn't seen before, starting with Lady in the Water, and this was an absolute bust. This film is so overdramatic, and the fact that you have M. Night Shyamalan essentially playing the most prolific and important writer in the world, it just comes off super corny, and it's not a good film. It's got some cool ideas, I'll say, like some of the set pieces under the pool, that was really cool and really well done, but the grass wolf monster, get that out of there. It does nothing for me. I'm a fan of Paul Giamatti and I like Bryce Dallas Howard, but yeah, this film was just not it. And next up is a film that I had never seen before, and I am so happy that I finally got around to it, with Clue. Clue is an absolutely bonkers comedy. I'm just going to say flat out comedy because it is based off of the board game Clue, but it is a whodunit mystery, who killed who, and it is just so well done. I absolutely loved it. Everybody in the cast is fantastic. Like, this is a film I would go out and purchase the steelbook of this. I would go out and purchase the Blu-ray. Either one that I find first is the one that I will purchase because I really do enjoy Clue, and this is one of those properties, one of those films that I absolutely think deserves a reboot, remake, requel, sequel, whatever. You can essentially do whatever you want. You can just do a straight up sequel to this film, and I think it would work out totally fine. But Clue is absolutely a film that I want to be in theaters, a new version of Clue. I absolutely want to see it in theaters within these next couple years. Next up, I watched Scream 3, which I'm recording my review for that directly after this video, so that review will be out shortly, but please be sure to go check that out. Right after that, we watched Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark in preparation for Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. I am very curious as to what Dial of Destiny is going to be bringing us. I wasn't really too sold on that first full trailer, but of course it's Indiana Jones. I'm going to go see it, but Daviana and I made Raiders of the Lost Ark a drinking game, and that was pretty fun. We don't drink often, but you know, we're going to do that throughout the entire rewatch of the Indiana Jones franchise. So, but yeah, I love Indiana Jones. I grew up with it, so it's kind of hard not to like. I will say right now, Temple of Doom is just absolutely my favorite. It's the one that I watched the most growing up, but I have love for every single one of the Indiana Jones films. And next up we have Scream 4, which of course I haven't done my review for that, but I've written it. I will be recording it today, and that review will be out shortly, so go check out my review for Scream 4. And next up we have another new release from 2023 with Infinity Pool. This was a film that I really wasn't a fan of. I really found it quite forgettable in the long run. There are some sequences and shots that I obviously find memorable just because of their shock value, but that really didn't do much for me in the long run. I felt like the story just wasn't what I was, not that it's bad because it wasn't what I was expecting. It's just bad because I don't think the ideas that they were trying to hammer home were hammered home in a way that was digestible. If that makes sense. And next up, I watched Old, another M. Night Shyamalan film in preparation for Knock at the Cabin, and I really had no patience for this film. I was really bored throughout the entire film, and especially with the twist. I'm just going to spoil it now because it's not a film that's worth watching. The twist of the coral reef as their way to get out and survive was just complete BS, and the fact that they were on a medical facility resort, it was just dumb. There's no other way around it. It was just dumb. And lastly, finishing off the month of January, we watched Cadet Kelly. This is also not a good movie, but you know what? We both grew up with films like this, and we thought we would also make this a drinking game, which I don't know what it was that those couple days we just thought, hey, you know, let's have a couple drinks here and there. And with Cadet Kelly, we drank every time they saluted, drank every time they said cadet, drank every time Kelly got in trouble. So it was a fun time, I will say, but we didn't end up making it through the film because it's just so old. It doesn't hold up. It's a kid's film from 2003 or something like that. That's live action. It's not a good film, but it's fun. Thank you guys for watching what I watched in January of 2023. Stick around for what I watched in February, which will be releasing just shortly after this. I'm very excited to talk to you guys about some of the movies that I saw in February, and I'm just excited for other films throughout the year like Scream 6 releasing in early March. But thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Carter, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.